Hello, and welcome to Have At Us, reviews for your pleasure. We share honest thoughts, opinions, feelings, often some hot takes. I'm Nietzsche.
And I'm Joshua.
Episode 9 of the RWBY Report. We're talking about RWBY Ice Queendom, episode 11. There'll be nice spoilers thrown in here for the RWBY Ice Queendom. We're going to try and keep spoilers out of the normal RWBY property. Not that Josh can provide you any, because he's a scrub. We invite you to have at us down in the links that are provided in the description for you. So you go do that. Let's hear it. I'm ready to hear about the bike. That's what I'm ready to hear about, because I feel like you're going to give me some hatred on the bike.
I got no complaints about the bike.
No, not this time?
Nope. It was fine.
All because of the lack of her saying something about it?
No, it was just better utilized in a way that was at least visually appealing in the episode.
Okay.
But otherwise, this was a very underwhelming episode.
Underwhelming. Let's hear what makes it underwhelming.
It felt very rushed, a little underwhelming at certain places. Didn't really make a lot of sense to me in a couple other places.
Alright, we can't defend it being underwhelming with it's a little underwhelming. Like, that's not how this works. What are some underwhelming things?
John. We're going to start with my boy.
Okay, but we all know that Jean's a failure. We knew he was going to be a failure, and like I called, Pyrrha saves the dang day for him every time.
This kid's pathetic. That's what I'm feeling from this episode. Just can't get it together. Can't pick up a sword. He drops the sword, and somehow that works out for him. Good for you. And then you need all these little girls and this girl that is mute to just help you out. And, now you can swing your sword and you're so cool. Man, just, why was he even here?
Because I feel like they want Jean to shine and want you to kind of feel cool that Jean is, making forward progress because he's, starts as a completely pathetic failure. But I don't ever feel like they accomplished that.
Well, we took one step forward, then 2 steps back, so.
The lack of understanding on how the glyphs work, because they haven't explained it for you, and, all of that, does make the scene look really weird, I'm sure, when they, pull out the gravity glyphs is what those basically are. And so it helps him move them.
It kind of made me think of Harry Potter.
I could see that. They all kind of look like they're just holding out wands and doing their thing.
Yeah, what it made me think of. But yeah, John, just crushing it this episode,
I don't know why you expected him to do better things. It's my problem. I have, from the get-go, conducted the train that is Jean's a failure.
You've been spouting that to me for years. But I wanted you to be wrong.
Okay, as a righteous man, I'm not wrong.
But it would seem in this case you are right. If he is anything like this in the main show, he would drive me insane.
I think he, up to this point, where Ice Queendom's at, is worse in normal RWBY property. But that's fine.
Yeah, so we had that. That was a small part.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Whitley at? What happened to him? I don't remember.
Did you remember his name was Whitley before we discussed it?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Uh-huh.
I would have caught him back.
Okay, why does he need to be there?
I just feel like they set him up to be something interesting like the scout or something at the beginning, and he's super underutilized, and he doesn't really do anything ever, and he just sucks. And I feel like, why was he even here then?
He's just a tattletale little brother. That's what he is.
Okay, well, he was stupid.
He wasn't even here. You can't criticize the episode because he wasn't there and you think he's stupid.
Okay, well, this is like the main arc of the dream being over, so he was stupid and irrelevant for this whole arc. So whatever, screw that kid.
You'll have time next episode to go over all the things you hated. We'll do a nice little recap of everything that sucks.
Yeah. Then we get this little scene with Yang and seeing a young Weiss and her grandfather. I felt nothing.
Oh, I like that. I thought that was really nice. It was on the nose.
Yeah,
the pacing was a little off, but I was engaged, so I moved on. I liked it.
I was just like, okay, you came up here, and then you saw that, and then you had the escape. Was this really impactful? I don't know.
Well, she murdered him. She broke Big Nicholas and murdered young Weiss and her grandfather.
Which would mean something if they weren't dreams. Or in this case, maybe memories.
Probably a memory that exists within the dream world.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But I was just like, okay. Yang went Super Saiyan, of course.
That is basically her power. Her technical semblance is that she can deal the damage back.
As he receives?
Yeah.
Ah.
Twice as much,
Okay.
I think, is technically what you're allowed here.
Okay.
Which is the whole deal. The eyes change color.
Yep.
She gets the Super Saiyan hair. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It made me think of Ghost Rider, Devil May Cry, Dragon Ball Z. Just a little bit of all that.
I mean, that's fine. I didn't think we were actually going to do something with her semblance. I knew we weren't going to explain it.
Oh, absolutely not. And I thought that was the coolest looking part of the episode.
Where she breaks an entire arm and then rides up to the front of it.
I liked it. I thought that was cool. It's downhill from here. And then it was.
Wow. I don't think it was downhill from there at all. I don't know what you were expecting. Like, I feel like you expected something to go in this, like, crazy direction.
I just wanted the confrontations to be more interesting, and they were really underwhelming. You had this Blake and Weiss fight, and then the what are these things called?
I don't know what things we're talking about.
The void creature things.
The Grimm.
The Grimm, yeah. The Grimm breaks there, and I'm like, that's what broke it. You just kind of got pushed to the ground a little bit, and it broke. Okay, well, that was kind of
What do you
dumb.
mean it got pushed to the ground a little bit?
Weiss did. Like, she hits the ground, and then it breaks.
Are you watching the show, or are you just, like, you're tuning out everything else that's happening?
I'm just saying that from a visual standpoint, it sucked. It's just not good.
The whole build-up is that Blake's plan is working. And that Weiss is realizing that, like, she has been possessed and is moving back to her normal self. And it's a gradual process in the audio that's happening.
And then she
In
hits
their
the ground.
exchange.
And then she hits the ground and it breaks. And that's that, I guess.
I don't understand how you're equating that. Like, it happens when she hits the ground. Wow. So that means that's what caused it? Everything else that's led up from the end of last episode to this is irrelevant?
No, I'm
Like,
just...
you can't just dismiss the effort they just put in and be like, that sucked.
Yeah, well, it did suck because it was underwhelming. Because it was a speech that was pretty predictable. Okay, great. We got our cool speech. And then you were shoved to the ground. And then it was over. It's because it was nothing special leading up to it. And then the end result wasn't interesting.
Here's my point again. You expected something exceptionally different on a show that has been tropey and followed the straight railroad tracks.
I didn't expect something different.
You definitely are criticizing it because you just claimed it wasn't different, and that was the problem.
Yeah, that's my problem with it, because it wasn't different, and it's not interesting to me because of it.
Yeah. See how you just said the exact same thing I said?
No.
Okay. You expected it to be different. My criticism of why you are not liking this is that you expected this to be different. And the show has done nothing to say that it's gonna do anything exceptionally cool.
Then the show's not interesting.
That's fine. You can think the show's not interesting, but I don't know at what point you decided that the expectations on the show needed to be, this is groundbreaking.
Well, I didn't go into the show thinking that was gonna be the case.
So I don't know why we're judging it by the standard here then.
Because
this is my confusion.
That's the standard by which I want to judge it, because I want to see a show do something different, and it's not. And so, I'm going to judge it for being things that I've seen before.
Yeah, but this show was never going to be different.
Okay, well then it's just going to be another show in the myriad of other shows.
My confusion is this feels like a lot of hatred on expectations that feel like they shifted very heavily.
It's not hatred, it's just disappointment.
But why did you set yourself up to be disappointed, right? This is my point. You could be like, well, it's not very interesting and whatever. But you've set yourself up to believe that this was going to be different. And I don't know why, because it never promised or showed that it would do that.
Because we're talking about it, that's why I feel like I have to engage more with it. So I have to set myself into a different set of mind for it. And thus, when it doesn't deliver something that I really want to talk about, then it's disappointing.
Yeah, but I don't know why you put your perceptions on it like that. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
That's just how I watch things. Like, I'm going to put my opinions and thoughts and circumstances of life into how I watch something, and that's going to give feedback into how I interpret something.
I mean, that's fine. I just don't understand why the expectations feel radically different than they did last week, right? This is my confusion.
Because it had the potential to be better, is my problem.
Everything has potential.
Wow.
But this didn't say it was using its potential to be different.
I wouldn't say everything has potential. There's a lot of things that I think are just not going to be good no matter what. But in this case, I liked the last episode, and I thought there were some interesting things that we could go with if we did something that wasn't exactly how I basically thought it would go. And I didn't expect Super Saiyan. The heart of the episode was we need to get Weiss free and then free Blake. Like, the Blake stuff was slightly better, but the Weiss stuff, I don't know. It just felt like we couldn't have got here like 4 episodes ago if this was just the conclusion we were going to reach.
What would have made it better? Like, what did you want it to do?
If Weiss had to confront herself in a way, in some like reflection form that splits off, and then she has to confront herself, almost like a doppelganger kind of scenario.
Basically what they did with Blake.
Yeah, but hopefully better than that.
Okay, that's basically what you're getting with her dialogue with Blake. She's having to confront the fact that she doesn't understand what she's done and who she's been, and that her ideas have been wrong. Like, you're not getting it as a direct her talking to herself, but the result is exactly the same.
Well, I'm fine with that as a result. I just would like it to be a bit more self-reflective. Whereas Blake coming in and like, oh, you know, you've made everything miserable, or your ignorance, or whatever. It's just like, okay, it's just, it's the fact that it's coming from a speech that's just so boring.
Whose speech?
Blake's.
You don't like Blake's speech?
No, because I feel like I've seen this in a million other things in the last 5 years.
See, I feel like this is a problem of cultural perceptions and where we're at today influencing this.
Well, like I said, where I'm at is going to be reflective of how I feel about something.
That's fine. Whereas I think as a fan, knowing how things have actually worked, which they don't explain well in Ice Queendom, because Blake makes a lot of references to, like, their homeland's gone and these things, but you don't know anything about that.
I know nothing.
Right. And I think that that's part of the problem, is that the show has basically always been a fan service show.
I mean, that could very well make a big difference, but I'm just giving you the thoughts that I can only have from watching this.
I know, because you're a scrub. It's sad. You know, we already covered that.
Now, if we had took that pain that she feels and maybe manifested that into something pretty cool, if that speech really... You could almost do like a flashback, right? And have her talk over that and see some of the devastation that's been wrought upon her people. And then you could really punctuate with that. And I just felt like there could have been something more with it if you're going to go for something a bit more standard like this. Then have it hit harder. But her being like, we've all suffered and we're stealing because we've suffered. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm sympathetic in the extent that I think you've probably been mistreated, or your people have been. But it's just not interesting. Not fresh. It doesn't hit hard. It doesn't have emotional weight to it, for me.
I think if we had watched this directly through, not break by the week, it would have felt a lot more cohesive. Because you have this stuff in like 4 or 5 where, you know, she runs off with our good friend's son.
Yeah.
Right, and that's not that long ago, right, episode-wise. So if you'd watched it through, that would still feel really good. Weiss has had to, you know, come to terms with the Faunus people and that whole deal. And I think if you'd given a little more and explained exactly the level of mistreatment and oppression that the Faunus have received, which is not a new and novel concept.
No.
It's just they are the oppressed people of this world, and that's fine. I think it would have felt better. Whereas all of that is very fresh to me because I, you know, understand RWBY to a very good level.
That's fair. Part of it, though, is that the show still suffers from instant friend syndrome. And that's still always going to be kind of pervasive. And I still haven't got over that the show hasn't convinced me that they're all great friends yet. And so when you're coming in with all this, it just feels kind of hollow at its heart still. And so it needs that development. And I do think that maybe if you have the greater, main series that help, then it probably means more. But for somebody who's never seen it, it's all just really hollow and kind of meaningless.
That's fair. As I said, I think this is a fan service show. So, you got any other hatred you want to throw out here? Mean things? Maybe mean to the mini Weisses? Can't be mean to children, so.
I didn't really have a problem with the mini Weisses. I mean, they're fine. I kind of feel like Pyrrha being so long in this now, just this mute Pyrrha, it's just weird.
I agree that Pyrrha not saying anything is weird. I don't understand, but I knew once she was there in the dream and they kind of stuck with her a little bit, I was like, yep, you're going to be here for too long and you're going to save the day with John. Well, you're going to save John's day, not with him. You will carry him like he is a backpack, just right up the mountain.
He didn't even get a happy ending from all this.
What happy ending should he have gotten?
Oh, I just wanted that to be a sexual innuendo.
Oh my gosh. Why you gotta be inappropriate about animated characters right now?
Well, this show wanted to be a little bit inappropriate. Got a hentai monster in it, so...
I don't think thorns have to be inappropriate over here, okay? I don't know why you gotta do that. I'm feeling a little like you can get your head out of the gutter.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now.
You had some things that aren't in the gutter you want to contribute here?
What's up with the I-beams?
On who? On Big Nicholas or Ruby?
Ruby.
That is something that I think was a very poor call. If you haven't watched up to Volume 3 and the end of that, this is a nice little spoiler for you. So you'll want to skip probably a minute or two ahead here. Anyway, the Silver Eye thing, which we mentioned very early, and you made note of it, maybe forgot about.
I remember now that you say it.
Yeah. So the Silver-Eyed people have special powers, and their power is that they get to turn Grimm technically into stone, which we didn't do here. They just obliterate with it, and in one point in RWBY proper, they do get obliterated, but it's once. Every other time they're turned to stone. RWBY has no idea that this power exists or anything cool about the Silver Eye thing till the end of 3, where some crazy things happen.
So, Medusa. Got it.
Kind of, yeah. It's a deal. That I was like, why did you put this in here?
Yeah, that really comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure this has some greater meaning, but that was just kind of stupid.
I agree it was a poor choice because it doesn't make a lot of sense for your canon-adjacent deal here at all.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that was weird. I was a little weirded out by the gun suits this way for a reason thing. That doesn't really feel like that was ever paid off. And then I'm not really sure exactly what happened. Like this dress thing, was that? I don't know what that was.
The dress that's being protected by the hentai monster.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if the show went into that or not, but we'll just explain it, because it's technically, explained in her teaser, if you're really paying enough attention. So in Weiss's teaser, she's singing a song, and it flips back and forth between her fighting that and the statue, right? Okay. But Weiss sings, and that's what technically is a charity concert, and so that's why they're in a theater. That's the dress she wears. She feels imprisoned by having to do the duties of the Schnee family to get all that. And I know all this from RWBY, because I'm cool.
Okay.
So in the end, it does work really well and makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But, again, it's fan service. If you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know. I was just like, why is there a dress?
That's Weiss's dress.
Did I just completely miss this dress? I believe it.
It might be in the first little bit with Weiss. It might not be. I probably is.
Okay. Well, sure. And then RWBY was like transported back. And I was like, how did she get transported back?
Weiss called her back.
How does that work?
Because Weiss is cool. It's her dream. I don't know. That's real cool. I don't have anything for that.
Oh, okay. Well, I was a little confused by it. And then we confront Blake.
Yeah.
Which we had a short little burst fight thing. And then they're like, oh, come back to us. please. And she's like, I got my coin. Let me use it. But I'm not really sure if it's gonna be used. And now I'm transferring out of this cell thing. And, let's kill it, friends.
It is the power of friendship and the rule of cool. And I was engaged, and I thought that was fine. The coin thing, I will give you. I don't know if that coin was used. I don't remember Blake grabbing the coin, and then I remember Yang grabbing the coin, and then Yang has the coin at the end.
I don't know. The coin thing is just annoying.
We shouldn't have counted them.
We should have made known it should have just been a bag of coins, and you could have just had a bunch of coins. Whatever. Another problem I got. Sion's time flowers vessel thing. I don't remember what this
hourglass.
The hourglass
that represents Shion's aura.
Yeah, the hourglass? I could not remember this word. That thing is looking pretty dang full. How slow does this thing drop? And then it's been like half a minute. Oh, well, that was a close one, guys, because it's empty. What are you talking about? It was just like 3/4 full.
So, the only justification that I can give you, and I don't think it's great, I agree it was a weird visual thing, is that it captures the nightmare at the end and throws it in the jar, and that is what drained the rest of the aura. Right? That's all I get for you. It's better than nothing. Not by a large amount here.
Well, my theory is time travel, so.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, that looked stupid. I thought that was dumb. Okay, I guess that's a reason. I don't know how we go from 3/4 to empty, but okay. And then we save the day. Everyone disappears. Hoorah. I thought it was kind of funny that Weiss was embarrassed, actually. I did like that.
I feel like that was a little too far out of character.
It seemed like a extreme response, but that's why it was interesting.
It just seemed like she was displaying too much emotion for the level of growth that she has had so far.
Oh, that's fine, but I mean, I don't believe in consistency in this, so.
You don't believe in anything in this show. That's your problem. You don't believe in the power of friendship.
I do believe in the power of budget, which is where this episode got the budget.
It was very nice looking. I actually really liked all these scenes. I thought visually they worked really well. I didn't love the weird art change for, like, the one frame with Yang on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was fine and it was a stylized choice, but it wasn't for me.
It just seemed like a really sudden off switch. Like we were in one state and then off, different state.
And then we're back. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a little weird to me. But all the rest of it, I thought it was well-timed auditorily. The music doing great things the whole episode.
I was going to say that this was probably the best episode for music.
Yeah, it all worked. It all made sense. We had a nice full song at the end.
Yeah.
Both opening and endings felt like they really fit tonally where we put them. I'm telling you, I was really enjoying it. But the fight scenes were good. I liked them. We really could have laid off the, like, leader thing.
Oh, that was getting annoying.
Because she doesn't really direct them in a fashion that I see, and so you should have just been
Call her by the name?
Huh?
Call her by name?
Well, I think that's fine to call her leader. I just don't know why we acted like she communicated a plan.
I'd rather them use the word captain.
Uh-huh.
It just sounds better.
Yeah, it's not what she is, though.
I guess.
It's Team RWBY, her team. She's team leader.
She could be team captain, too.
No. That sounds like we're at school on a playground.
They are at school.
Not on a playground.
This is basically a playground inside of dreams, okay?
They're like up in an office.
That's my playground.
It's not. Anyway. Yeah, I thought this was a great episode.
I figured my opinions were going to be very strongly in the different direction than a lot of people feel about this episode. That finish, I'm like, I bet you a lot of fans really like this episode. And I can't wait for me to be the dissenting point.
That's fine. I liked it. I thought it was really great. I enjoyed it a lot. I was really enjoying it. But the auditory thing being spot on the whole time really helps me.
Right.
And a lot of the context things I understand, so we're good. Anyway, you got any other hatred? You got positive things to say?
I can't think of any.
What is the show doing in the next episode?
What do I think the show's doing?
Yeah. What is your prediction? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, God. Okay. I didn't understand.
I gathered.
Well, what was the name of it? The best day ever?
It is called The Best Day Ever.
You said to get my mind out of the gutter, so I'm not going to go there.
You can keep your mind in the gutter if you want. You know.
No, I gotta follow your righteous words. I'm thinking there's gonna be a dinner party.
Mm-hmm.
Jean's gonna talk to Pyrrha.
Well, he's the team leader of Juniper.
So he's gonna talk to her, and he's gonna say something really stupid, and I'm gonna hate it. And she's gonna be really pointlessly supportive, and I'm not gonna like that either. So they're gonna fit really well together. And, we're not gonna, explain the time travel, but they should.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna happen, though. And, gonna be a slumber party, probably. That's what I'm feeling, slumber party.
Do you understand that the teams sleep in the same room?
Yeah, but there's 2 teams, and they get all joined together in one room. There's only 2 guys, right? So they might have to be excluded, but,
Well, I mean, Ren and Nora, they can be coupled off over there. Jean and Pyrrha won't end up coupled off, so they'll have to go to the slumber party.
Okay.
And then everybody else is there.
And then it's just gonna be Jean with all these other girls that are just way superior to him in, like, every conceivable way.
Wow.
He's got it pretty tough.
I don't know that he has it tough, he's just a failure. Yeah. Anyway, we've rained enough hate on John.
There might be some tea.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
Those are your thoughts, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a decent indication of what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna keep it there, because I feel like it's probably pretty on the nose.
I feel like there's gonna be, like, some correlating episode from the main show that this is lining up with in the time frame or something, and so it's like, oh, look, this is how we connect it, and I'm gonna be like, well, that means nothing to me, so time travel.
I'm glad that you sound like you're very encouraged to watch RWBY. It's a good thing. I appreciate the openness, and that's the end of our discussion. That's the end of all the goodness, all your hatred and your meanness, the very small positives, all your hot takes, all of my great positivity and righteousness. But that brings our discussion to the close. But we invite you to have at us. It's important. Really, I mean, we started the episode with saying that Josh was a scrub. You now have full evidence that he's just a RWBY scrub. You come have at him. I'll take all the support. If you're with him, though, he definitely needs some support. So you like, you comment, you subscribe, you leave those suggestions, you share this, all good things.
And of course, one last thing you could do, and as this show winds down with the dreams, you can keep them living by becoming what you've always dreamed of being, a terrorist.
This is a deep, dark dream.
It's the truth we all have to live with.
Okay.
And you can live these fantasies in other people's dreams. Invade them, become that terrorist, whatever that entails, your weapon of choice.
What weapon are you using?
Guns, because I'm American.
It's also a gun?
A gun that is also a gun, yes. That is true. And then you can enlighten people about us. It'll be sort of like religion.
Can they, like fireworks that they shoot off as they, have terrorized someone's dreams that's, you need to watch or listen to have at us?
If that's their weapon.
Okay. Any other rules in place you want to put on people's reigns of terror?
Well, apparently in dreams you can do whatever the heck you want. Like right on the side of buildings and walls and stuff.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So go ahead and, have at it.
Okay. Well, when you do this, the social media links, they're in the description. You go find them. You do that. We'll be watching, waiting. We'll need evidence. You tell the story. Whatever you need to do. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10.
Have at us.